a playlist original.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster with your hosts, Gaius and Jackson. Gaius, great to see you again. For those, I guess, not our audience isn't always aware of when we record, but just for context, summer's gotten the best of us. It's been a beautiful few months, at least over here in New Brunswick, and I'm sure out in California too, which has led to we've been very tied up, but I've been able to get some stuff out. But it's good to see you again. It's been a few weeks since we actually sat down and recorded, so it's good to be back in the chair and talking movies with you again, my friends.
Nice for those wondering, also very nice to see you. It's been since before the 4th of July since we recorded together last. So we've had gaps like this before. I mean, like over the holiday, there's usually a 2-week gap. Like you guys don't notice because there's episodes out where we don't record. But I think this one felt longer because like we kept trying to nail down days. And we're like, all right, this one works. And we're like, oh, that doesn't work. All right, let's do this one. And we're like, oh, I can't do this one. And that's just life.
Life's been doing its thing.
Yeah, and schedules just change, and what sounds like a good day is no longer a good day. But I learned a little bit in the gap. One was like last week we re-released the 25th anniversary episode that I did before I Know You Did last summer with Mark. That was all the way back before Jackson was even on the show. That was episode 52 of the show. And re-released it, put a new like intro ahead of it, added a few things to make it sound different, but it was basically the same episode from back then. And basically I heard people who said like if they are on a break or if schedules don't work out that they re-release or repurpose their old episodes. And I was like, all right, let me make sure. So I'm like talking to other podcasters and they're like, yeah, we do that all the time. If we want to maintain a steady schedule and don't want a gap, we tend to re-release earlier episodes because hey, you might have new listeners that haven't gone back that far to listen to episode 50 something. So that is just something to have in our back pocket in case this ever happens again. Of course, they would just be old episodes with other guests or Jackson. I wouldn't re-release episodes with other co-hosts that were on the show because that'd be weird. But it ended up working out, and some people who hadn't heard that episode before got to hear it last week. So that was a good thing. Nice. And it was hard to believe. I told Mark because we recorded yesterday for the new I Know You Did last summer, and that was episode 52. We're on this is 247 now, and even Mark was like, "You guys cranked these out like nobody's business." I can't believe like, and he was like, "That episode doesn't even feel like long ago, but it was." But but that's a good thing though. Like episode 52 is early in the run, so like you can easily re-release an episode like that. New title, like spruce up the intro to make it sound different, but it'll feel fresh and new to like new listeners, and maybe listeners who've been listening to us might want to revisit that one without having us like scroll through our our list of episodes. So it ended up working out. So we there are so many ways we can make up for both of us being busy or one of us being busy.
We've got all sorts of content there to use to our advantage, and then also it doubles as like promo for the new I Know What You Did last summer movie.
Yeah, that was another thought. Yeah,
I thought you saw it.
Yeah, it was it was. Yeah, the other thought process around that is that of course that was trending because the new one was coming out. So I was like, all right, might as well see if it helps boost up things a bit. I did see it. I told you offline. In the moment I thought it was a fun slasher movie. I still think it has like fun slasher movie moments, but it not that good. Which is so like
IP kind of gets the reboot treatment and it underperforms expectations, but oh well.
Yeah, there were some like surprises and surprise cameos, and like I told you, it takes a big bold swing towards the end of the movie that felt okay in the moment, but then once you like really let it marinate, you're like, it didn't earn that really wild bold swing, and it was done. It was done more for shock value rather than this makes sense for the story, I guess. But then, like one of my buddies was like, "What were you expecting from like?" He was like, "That IP is not like incredibly strong." He was like, "You got one pretty decent movie, and that's that first one." And and he was like, "I don't care." And he's like, "I don't care what you say. That sequel is trash." I was like, "Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't like I Still Know." Jackson being one of them, and then no one likes I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. So there's that.
I always forget that. And then
a movie, a thing, right? And then the short-lived TV show didn't really catch on either. That was on Amazon. So But it's crazy though, because online people seem to like really be hungry for the IP, and like people that really love this Legacy sequel love it. Like they think it's like the best thing since sliced bread. But like most people, I think it didn't really open all that well. It opened okay over the weekend. It had a pretty small budget of $18 million, so they might be able to like skip through and get a sequel. It had a $24 million worldwide opening and a $13 million opening in domestic, but I predict a pretty hefty drop off this weekend. One that happens
an $18 million budget.
Yeah, and like when you watch
this new one,
the new one, yeah.
Oh wow, that's I haven't heard of a budget that low. It's just caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
that's awesome that they were able to make it on that.
Yeah, I think shooting. I think they got some incentives for shooting in Australia because that's where it was shot, which is supposed to double for like Southport, like North Carolina. So it's supposed to be doubling for but it works. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't entirely work for me, but I told one of my buddies I could see it becoming like a cult classic because like there is already a crowd for the movie that loves it, that really does love what it did, and also happy for Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. who got to come back, and especially her, she was very excited to come back. So good for them, I guess. It's no Scream Legacy sequel resurgence for sure though. But
no,
I mean,
yeah.
But you know what? This franchise has always been on the coattails of Scream, like since the beginning. I mean, the first one came out right after Scream. It's always been like that. I just wish I enjoyed it more. I saw it with my brother, and he was I could feel him out of my peripheral, just like hating every moment of it. He did not like it at all. Like, yeah, like I said, I told you, he's like, when we left, he was like, I felt nothing watching that movie. I was like, oh,
yeah,
can't win them all. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's nice when it is kind of can lead to some good conversation when you can share what you liked or what you didn't like with somebody. But it is best, I think, coming out of a theater and both people having like the same experience and enjoying it. But that's not always the case. So recently, earlier in the week, Cam and I went to go see Eddington, Ari Aster's new movie. I think he liked it a little bit more than I did, and I was kind of saying to you off camera, I didn't hate it by any means. I'm still sort of trying to wrap my head around what I thought of it overall. But for those that have seen it, or even if you haven't, like I'll keep spoilers free, but very jumbled in its ideas and all the different aspects of the pandemic that it offers up. Like it really did encapsulate what life was like in 2020 and 2021, like when the movie takes place. But it was also a period that I wasn't like hyped to go back and explore, but it was pretty interesting to see a movie actually take place in that time and address it. Like I haven't seen a movie that takes place during the pandemic explicitly, I don't think. So it was interesting. And to everyone involved, it did a really great job, but there were so many complicated social aspects of that time period that this movie offers up, and I'm not convinced that they all worked for me, but there were some strong performances. But I ultimately left like similar. Sounds like with your brother, and I know he did last time. I didn't hate it by any means, but I definitely came out on like the side that I guess I didn't really love it. And Ari Aster's a filmmaker I'm going to continue to go see and support his work. Like I think he's very distinct voice in the industry right now, and this was definitely his most further away sort of movie from his other work. Like Beau is Afraid from 2023 is definitely different and original as well, but this like Eddington is definitely more of a dark comedy western sort of thing. No horror really at all in it, although there's a couple of disturbing like shots. I would say it's very stands apart from his other three movies more than any other. But yeah, that's kind of something I was lately in theaters.
Maybe you should go back to horror, like explicitly horror. I mean, he got the first two movies he did were like kind of explicitly that. I guess Beau was Afraid. I wouldn't even know what to call Beau was Afraid.
That's a genre. Sure,
yeah.
Seeing Eddington made me really want to watch Beau is Afraid again. I hadn't seen it since theaters, and so 2 years ago, and I really would like to see that one again. But I guess to your note about what he should be doing, I just saw yesterday there is a sequel in development for Eddington, which I truthfully don't know why or how it's or what it's going to tackle as a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, for those that know how Joaquin Phoenix's character ends up, he's the lead of Eddington. I don't really know what we're going to explore in his life after what ends up happening to him in that movie, but there are a few loose ends. But I guess it took me by surprise to see that announced. But I guess that's what he's planning on doing next.
Are these are they all A24? I mean, like A24 seems to love him, and
Yep.
they like giving him money to do whatever he wants. I wonder how long that'll go before they're like, you're not quite delivering. Because I know this got like it didn't get horrible reviews, but I think the Rotten Tomatoes score is in the 60-some% range.
Yeah.
Which is still fresh, but not like incredibly fresh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he has a sequel idea for Eddington. And he also said that he has a horror film that he's interested in doing. And then there's a sci-fi adaptation that he's thinking about, and he's trying to figure out the right thing to do next. And then I'm reading this one website. It says that's all fine and dandy, but there might be a problem in getting any of these made, and that's called money. If Eddington can find an audience, what are the odds that a sequel will do any better? It's the kind of project that screams passion over profit, catnip for cinephiles, poison for most investors. And then they said Astor once quipped that he couldn't believe A24 was stupid enough to give him $35 million to make Beau was Afraid. They shelled out another $30 million for Eddington, and they said maybe that could be the end of that partnership. I mean, does Eddington look like a $30 million movie?
It's shot really well. It's got big A-list talent in it, and there are a couple sequences I can see that would have been pretty expensive ultimately. And I never I didn't take it upon myself to even look up the budget before I went, but 30 sounds right. I'll say that with the talent involved and how well it's made. Yeah, I'd say that sounds. I'm not surprised to hear that. Will it make 30? I mean, how do you have we had?
Well, it opened to $4.5 million last weekend. So
Jesus. Okay.
So I don't think it's gonna get close to that. At least not here.
He's a pretty niche filmmaker,
director. Yeah. And then like they took a $35 million loss on Beau is Afraid, and I mean I'm guessing they might take a loss on Eddington too. They basically said A24 gave Astor 2 blank checks, neither paid off at the box office. And so the question becomes, does Astor still get to make the kind of films he wants to make? The film industry isn't exactly in a generous mood these days, with studios slashing budgets and indie arms scaling back. Someone like Astor could easily find himself squeezed out or forced to compromise, which is something that has yet to happen in his career. But they did say a return to horror might be his best play, because that genre tends to be forgiving and made on the cheap. And
I mean, if you get a horror trailer here in a couple of years saying from the director of Hereditary and Midsommar, I bet you that brings audiences to the theater. So I would love to see him return to horror. I think I will encourage his original ideas going forward as a filmmaker, because love or not love his movies, I think he still plays an important role in movie making right now, and that making original movies. And I think he's super talented, but I do think he is a guy that could use, and I would not say this often or lightly, but sometimes studio oversight can be a good thing. And I think he's one of those guys, one of those filmmakers that kind of needs ideas tailored or reined in a little bit, just because in the last 2 movies, there's so much going on and not so much of a cohesive way through that I think his movies would benefit from, at least his last couple. But you know what? All the power to him. Hopefully, A24 continues to work with them, because it's a good partnership. But it's not proven to be fruitful at the box office. But whatever, lots of movies aren't.
Yeah. One partnership that seems to be fruitful still is Focus Features partnership with Robert Eggers. After Nosferatu became his highest grossing movie ever of his career, and he's sticking with them for Werwulf, which I think we talked about on an previous episode, right? But now there are also updates. One, it starts filming in September. It looks like Tyler Johnson, he closed his deal to play the title character in the film. Also in talks, but not official yet, but getting close, is Lily Rose Depp, which would make that a Nosferatu reunion for all 3 of them. which would be really interesting if they pulled that together.
So I know you said unofficial. I don't know how much faith we put in IMDb because sometimes things change there, but Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, and Lily Rose Depp are all attached on the IMDb page of Werewolf.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that is a positive sign.
Yeah. By the way, I think her end talks were like very, very close. Like, it's just a matter of like probably scheduling and not so much money. I think she's definitely in. And I actually did hear about Willem Dafoe, and I think Ralph Ineson, who's doing doing big things this weekend as Galactus in the Fantastic Four. They asked if he was attached to this movie, and he just smiled and says, like, we'll have to find out, because he's been attached to, I guess, all of his projects, most of his projects at least, in some capacity. So, so like I like the idea. I like they were going with the whole summer 2026 or not summer, Christmas 2026 release date again, similar to Nosferatu. I think they're like, hey, it worked for that, it'll work for this. It sounds interesting. I know there are some people that and some of them are friends of mine. They're like, can he make anything other than these like period? He doesn't want to make modern gay films at all. And he's been very honest about it. And one of my buddies is like, well, it just feels like the same shit over and over again. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's for everyone, but he definitely is attracting a certain amount of talent and like people that really want to work with him. And I think it's funny because like he's having the opposite career trajectory right now than like Ari Aster, who he tumbled with like the Northman when they gave him all that money to make that movie, and it didn't do all that well. But all you need is one hit after that, and Nosferatu was a pretty big.
That was a grand
for Focus Features. When it becomes like one of their biggest hits, and then the biggest hit of your career, then you can like kind of do a little bit, what you want. And I think he's in that position right now. And they're probably like, hey, give us something new. Let's see what you're cooking with. So. Yeah, it's interesting to look at those two opposite, because they kind of feel like the same, not same filmmaker, but like, kind of like not too mainstream. They kind of go by the beat of their own drummer a bit. Like they don't want to be like, they're not really like studio directors. So like, I think it's interesting that this is what can happen if you can still have like these kind of like indie sensibilities and not be like a full on studio filmmaker, but still like maintain your integrity, kind of thing that Eggers has, and make hits for studios and not go too off the rails where it's like, only like hardcore cinephiles will like your stuff. So I think there's a line to be drawn there, but Eggers has figured it out, and I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like an interesting idea for a movie, and liking the cast so far. And I also like when actors and directors, like once they find like their tribe of people to work with and they continue to work with them, I respect that.
100%. Like Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers' relationship is one of my favorites in Hollywood right now. I will say too, I know The Northman was his least performing film, but that I think is one of the strongest entries from 2022. One of my favorites from that year. That movie is amazing, and if you like any of Eggers' movies, I think that is probably one of his most epic in scale as well. An incredible movie. I can't wait for Werewolf. I love that we're getting an original period werewolf movie that's not like time to like the Wolfman, because we've had a few interpretations of that story so far. The last one from earlier this year I thought was very disappointing. So I love that we're getting sort of his own take on the character, the creature, and it being set in like medieval Britain. I think that's gonna be awesome. I couldn't really ask for more. Every single time that guy lines up a movie, it just gets better and better. So. And
I think so.
Still reeling from Nosferatu. I need to get my hands on the 4K of that movie. Like I haven't even seen it on a shelf yet, and I can't wait. But one of my favorite actors right now.
That was a good look, and that was a good looking movie too. So that'll be really good on 4K.
Another super hot horror director right now, Oz Perkins, who's been just pumping them out movie wise lately. We had Long Legs last year, and then shortly after, earlier this year, and I think it was March, we got The Monkey. But his next movie, Keeper, has a first look at that with a poster, and I think it's got a cast. It does have a decent.
Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black. She was also in The Monkey. She was the mom in the movie. what I love that he works with Neon. I mean, I'm guessing he has an exclusive deal with him because his movies have just been with him, and he's been cranking them out pretty quick. Like when the Monkey came out, there was like a little like almost. I think like some people got a little like teaser, very short teaser of what his next movie would be, and this is it, I guess. So it was already like done, or at least some of it was done already for the studio. So I love that he has this relationship with them because Neon is making some really great horror movies, and they're really collaborating with some great directors. Like I Can't like Together looks amazing, and I'm all for that. Don't really know much about Keeper except what I read. It says a romantic anniversary trip to a secluded cabin turns sinister when a dark presence reveals itself, forcing a couple to confront the property's haunting history. So I don't know much beyond that, but I don't know. There was like a little teaser trailer released, but like it didn't really, doesn't really reveal too much, which is, I guess, in typical like Neon fashion.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Like, so we had Long Legs, which I really loved. The Monkey I thought was good. I was thrown by like the humor and all that because I wasn't expecting it.
Surprised by it, yeah.
So where are you at on like him as like because you've seen some of his other stuff and I haven't seen things prior to Long Legs.
So Long Legs, I think, is well and above his best movie. Definitely my favorite of his. The Monkey, I will say, like maybe because I went in expecting more of a traditional horror only a few months after Long Legs, like I guess I'll say I was a little bit disappointed, but I really feel like a rewatch, knowing what I'm getting into, will yield a more positive sort of thought about that movie after. But his other stuff, like The Blackcoat's Daughter, really, really amazing, slow, methodical, dread-inspiring movie. Like if Keeper is more in vein with that, I think that will be something that I really like. That would be his other movie that I recommend first. Like The Blackcoat's Daughter was really, really slick. That's a really good movie. His Gretel and Hansel movie was pretty sweet as well. It kind of out there, more of like fairy tale sort of vibe to it, but very, very much Oz Perkins' signature on it. Now, I want to say he has one other movie that I've seen, but I'm blanking on what that is. Like pre Long Legs, but I think I've seen all his filmography except for one movie, and I've liked everything. But The Monkey was kind of the one that threw me for a loop because it's very much like a horror comedy, and I didn't really get that. Going into it.
I ended up enjoying it, but I definitely, the tone of the trailers didn't really give that away. So like when I saw it, I was like, oh well. I mean, I think I would have preferred a more straightforward horror movie, but I still enjoyed it. But I guess Neon acquired Keeper in a preemptive deal last May, and then Perkins and his business partner, they launched their production banner as well with backing from Neon the same month, and they entered into a first look deal with the studio. So that's why they're going to continue to be cranking out movies with Neon for the foreseeable future under this first look deal. So I know, like when you find the right studio to work with, also you stick with them as well. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I think he's an interesting filmmaker, though. I mean, like he also seems like he has a very odd personality, and his interviews are very. Well, I mean, he is Anthony Perkins' son, so I mean, I guess he would be a little odd. But his ideas are interesting, and he seems to really love the genre, even if everyone isn't all for the stuff that he's making. Like I know some people that love Long Legs. I think because I think the marketing they thought was better than the actual movie when they finally saw it, because they loved the marketing for the movie. But I don't know. I think he's one of the like kind of really interesting voices in the horror genre right now, and I look forward to his stuff.
So I'm looking forward to Keeper. Sorry, it looks the little teaser that we got is giving me anthology vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
You?
Yeah, I got that vibe too. Yeah,
we'll see what that looks like later this year. I think that releases November 14th, 2025. So two movies in one.
Yeah, the same year. Good for him. So we had some Dune 3 news, which I guess is officially going by Dune Part 3 and not Dune Messiah. So I think well, I heard from some people who have read the books that Dune Messiah is a very it's not really a great book, but there are some good ideas in it, and their idea was like maybe they know that and want to stay away from,
Okay.
the not so good aspects of the book and just focus on what Denis Villeneuve can do with it on his own as a director and all that. So, that's what they're going with the whole Dune Part 3 thing. I think they are already, Timothée Chalamet, they said today, has flown out to location to start filming it today.
Okay,
as
that's
a
exciting.
as a recording.
That's awesome.
And I guess Zendaya will fit in whenever she could, because she's all over the place filming stuff. She's still shooting parts of The Odyssey. I know that they said that she would be shooting some of Spider-Man Brand New Day also on
Oh
top
my
of doing
gosh.
this. So at least two of them were with her fiance. So like she's in good company. But yeah, what did you have for Dune Part 3? And are you
Yes.
are you concerned about this particular change?
Well, I don't know. Like, concern's the right way to put it. And in essence, it's cinematographer Greg Fraser is being replaced, and he was the cinematographer for the first two movies. I'd say like he's incredible and one of the leading people in his field today. So it's disappointing that he won't be the cinematographer for Dune 3. However,
Yeah.
he has been replaced by Linus Sandgren, who is a Swedish cinematographer. He's worked on Damien Chazelle's films post Whiplash. He won an Oscar for his work on La La Land, which is an incredibly short movie. So I
That's
think the
promising.
movie's it's in good hands. Like he shot First Man, he shot No Time to Die, La La Land. So he is himself an incredible cinematographer. So I think, and Saltburn too, he did work on. So
Oh, those are
all
all good
beautifully
looking.
shot movies. So I think that
Yeah.
Dune 3 is in good hands. But Greg Fraser, my theory, and I don't know that this is confirmed, but what I think is now that there's a script for Batman 2, I feel like Matt Reeves got
Oh,
his hands.
is he moved? He's moving over to that.
I think
Well,
he shot the Batman. So I'm thinking
I'm
he's
glad
doing
that
something.
that script's finally done. Because
Yeah.
that was oh, and this isn't on our docket. I just wanted to know what you think about, because like it was a big deal about Matt Reeves finishing that script, right?
Right.
And then like James Gunn has been all over the news because of Superman, and he's the co-head of DC Studios, and he finally got a copy of the script, and his comment was that it was really good, but there's still some work that needs to be done, but we're almost there. And then someone online was like, they didn't like the fact that like you have a filmmaker writer as talented as Matt Reeves that has to be almost like overseen by someone like James Gunn to make sure that the final product is actually good. I understood the sentiment, but I guess James Gunn is the head of this studio. But like, I kind of did understand what they meant by Matt Reeves is a talented filmmaker and writer and should be trusted to get this right. Why? I mean, I get why it has to go through James Gunn. And it's just something that was lacking from the previous regime when it came to the DC universe. So I guess that's a good thing. But do you see kind of like the point that person was making of like, why does this have to pass, the James Gunn like litmus test in order to like
Well,
completely move forward?
yeah, again, it's kind of gray area. Like I get that as co-chair and like him pioneering this new DC universe, he wants to make sure that everything is all in order, and he's got a job to do. But I also don't
Yeah.
like the idea of him having his fingers on the Matt Reeves Batman universe. Like, yes, they're under the DC umbrella, but James Gunn and Matt Reeves like directing personalities I don't think clash very well. So that kind of gives me
Yeah.
pause. But I'm not really sure what I don't know what he's wants to kind of tailor up there to finish off that script, but I'm hoping that his involvement is like minimum.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I get it because, like, like I said, the previous regime with this, I think there was a lack of direction, which is why,
Yes.
which is why you got lucky with like a Wonder Woman, but then everything else was like a clusterfuck. So, like,
Right.
I understand like the desire to like oversee it, but I guess like maybe some people are reading too much into is like, oh, is he going through with like a red Sharpie? Be like, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
what I
no, this
don't
doesn't
want to
work.
be the case.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
like add in humor here and take out this character and replace it with this one. Like I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, because like I did like Superman. I did see that and I did like it, but there were some really solid moments that were like undercut by like typical James Gunn humor.
Doesn't shock me
like
to hear that, but
like some really good, like, oh, this is a really like poignant moment, and it would then there would be a joke, and I'm like, oh, this is so very much him. I think he knows how to do that with the Batman, or to even suggest that. I hope.
I'm hoping not. Yeah.
But like, everything doesn't need to be quippy, So yeah, that was something I wanted to ask you, because like I thought it was an interesting point that this person was upset because they were like, why does like go through like his like kind of like his eye to make sure that it's so good before it like. But I understand. I mean, like it's James Gunn and by extension Peter Safran, who's his co-head, co-CEO. They have to. It's a lot of money at stake, and they need to like make sure these things go off without a hitch. It seems like they're way more organized than, of course, the previous heads, because they used Superman to launch it, to watch the new DCU, and it's doing pretty well. It's got some naysayers, as I said offline. There are a ton of them, who are still like Snyder Bros and love Man of Steel, and that's never going to go away. But I think for the most part, it did its job to, kick off the new DC universe. And I think up next they have Supergirl, which will come out next year, and they kind of hinted at that in Superman. And then the one they're filming next is Clayface, which sounds like a complete departure from even like this like big summer like comic book movies. It's being done as a legitimate, like he said, it's like a straight almost horror movie rather than so I love the direction they're going in, not just making these kind of like big grand comic book movies where like there's so much world ending matters at stake. They're like kind of taking them like each character, each story as like an individual piece, rather than shoehorning them into this like end all be all, we have to save the universe type of story. So I respect that, but I also respect Matt Reeves. So I just hope that there's not a lot of policing going on with his story.
I'm with you 100%. I hope I have a lot of faith in Matt Reeves and what he's doing, and his storyline is completely separate. So like, just let him cook. And I know he's taking his sweet ass time doing it, but now that script at least had his endorsement, I was kind of expecting next that like, hey, now we're going to be
let's move this along.
I didn't expect to hear James Gunn wanted to have a final say, but whatever. I kind of get it. Like, he's entitled to as the co-chair or whatever his rule is at DC, but in any case, sorry, any final point?
No, that was it.
I just got caught off guard reading this next little point that you had here. I never saw Guy Ritchie's Roadhouse from a year or two ago. I heard decent enough things as an entertaining action movie, but I know that, or was it his movie?
Oh, so he directed. Doug Liman directed the first one.
Okay, yeah,
and it was a big deal because he thought it was going to get a theatrical release, and they put it on Amazon, and he got mad.
Yeah,
then he was going to boycott the premiere. Yeah. Guy Ritchie was attached to do Roadhouse 2, and by the way, guys, we don't have any reason as to why he left, but he left, and that is just going to be up to us to speculate why he left.
Okay.
I really don't know that. Like, I've looked up other reasons as to why he left. I mean, he's worked with Jake Gyllenhaal before, so that shouldn't have really been the issue. Could it just be the age-old like creative differences of like what he wanted to do and what Prime, Amazon, MGM Studios wanted to do? Maybe he had more grand ideas for the sequel. Like, we really don't know, but it was really just like he departed the project and no reason was given as to why he left. But I thought he was an interesting choice because he had worked with Gyllenhaal before. They have a good working relationship. It would have been a good, I think, partnership again on this. I mean, someone said it didn't seem like a movie he would make, but I was like, if you go back to like some of his, I mean, I'm not saying that he made dumb action movies back in his day, but he certainly knows how to craft a movie like that and make it fun, and probably make it even more fun than what they did with the original. Not the original with Swayze, but the original with Gyllenhaal for Prime Video. I thought he would be a good choice for it, but like, it is interesting that
I agree. I think his sensibilities as a director really do line up with at least what the first movie aimed to do. So that's interesting. I actually kind of forgot he was even attached to this. I haven't heard any movement on this in quite some time now, and like I said, like I don't think that like the Doug Liman one's really for me, so I don't really feel anything about this news, and I don't know that I'll check it out. We'll see, but in any case, if Guy Ritchie's freed up to do something else, then I don't think that's a bad idea either. He's pretty eclectic filmmaker and keeps himself busy. I'm sure he'll get attached to something else here shortly.
Yeah. And no, he got attached to the project back in April and dropped out. The date of the story was on July 10th when they announced that he was leaving.
Okay.
So that's a long time between being attached and like trying to develop it. So there could have been some issues over, what they wanted to do. And he has a movie called a Lionsgate thriller called In the Gray that with Henry Cavill and Gyllenhaal that is going to be up next for him. I think it's already done. And then another black comedy called Wife and Dog. So like, I don't think it's an issue over like projects he's currently filming. I just think it might have just been like like in the relationship, irreconcilable differences. This might have been creative differences. What direction to kind of take it. So there's that. I don't even know who they're gonna scramble to get for it. They seem like they really want to move forward with it though, because like it did really well with them. It was I think their most watched original when it premiered on the platform.
Yeah, that's right. It was huge.
Yeah.
I had lots of people, like casual movie watching friends that I saw would post about it, would talk about it. Like I know a lot of people watched it, but kind of went under my radar. I was kind of against it from Conor McGregor's involvement from the start. I just thought.
He was good for the project. I'm not going to say that he's a good actor by any means, but for the movie and the part and what was asked of him, which is not much, like to kind of play an extension of himself, it was fine. The film launched on Prime Video last March and broke records for the streamer, attracting nearly 80 million worldwide viewers in the first 8 weeks to become the studio's most watched produced film debut ever on a worldwide basis. So that's why they moved ahead with the sequel. So
okay. Yeah, not shocking at all. But yeah, be interested to see who fills that slate as director.
So this Luca Guadagnino, who is I don't know, I think he might be one of my favorite directors working now. Like every time I hear about what he's doing, and like it's interesting because we're doing a story about his casting for his movie Artificial. A little later in the show, he has a trailer for another movie he's doing that looks also amazing. I think he's just making like really good like adult movies that you don't really see much anymore. Like they remind me of stuff from like the 90s, mid 90s, like the late 90s, where like those type of movies were like the norm back then because people but then they stopped doing well and then they stopped making them. But I'm just really excited for what he wants to do as a filmmaker, and this new project he has called Artificial sounds pretty good, and he's rounded up his cast for it. There's been a lot of names added to it. Most recently, I think it's Ike Barinholtz. He's playing Elon Musk in the movie. That broke yesterday. And then looking at him, he actually could pull off playing Elon Musk. This is also another partnership with Amazon MGM. He had great success with them with Challengers. He's doing After the Hunt with them as well. Luke is. And also in the cast is Andrew Garfield, who also just recently worked with them in After the Hunt. Yeah. Yura Borisov, who was in Anora. He got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He was the in that movie. He had a very quiet, very solid performance. A lot of people
win. Did he not win that Oscar?
No. Why am I blanking on who it went to? Because it was the front runner for it was oh my god, they won everything. I was like, yeah, supporting. Yeah, I'm blanking on who. Kieran Culkin won. Sorry. Won. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Cooper. His last name is Koch. I don't want to mispronounce it, but he's in them, and then he was in them. And then
yes, fantastic performance by him.
He's also in it, and Melissa Barbaro is also in talks to join, and she's a recent Oscar nominee. She was in Top Gun Maverick. She was an Oscar nominee for the Bob Dylan biopic. Also rumored to be dating Andrew Garfield, so that'll be also interesting as well. It says that Early Shatter says Artificial will center around the company OpenAI and the tumultuous period in 2023 when its CEO Sam Altman was fired and rehired in just a few days. Though nothing has been confirmed, Garfield is expected to portray Altman, while Borisov is reportedly playing the OpenAI co-founder. And no word on who Cooper is playing, but I think it sounds interesting. Good cast, and I also think that Luca Guadagnino is just a really versatile, talented filmmaker. So I look forward to anything that he does.
I am actually really surprised that he's tackling something like based on real life, because I remember this period and I follow sort of like tech news here and there. So I remember when
Yeah.
this tumultuous time. Um, and then the company's since been traded publicly and all that controversy. It's interesting that because he, very original filmmaker, makes like fictionalized movies that could take place in real life, but this is interesting to
Yeah.
see him actually tackling something. And right now, IMDb has it as a comedy drama. I think the cast
Yeah.
is super impressive. One other person, Cooper Kaufman's also in
Yeah,
this
I just saw
movie.
that he
Really
joined it.
invested for him.
He was in Licorice Pizza, and then
Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman, who worked with Luca Guadagnino and Queer, is also in the movie as well. He just joined.
He's
So
another director that's pumping out movies at a crazy rate. He's made like he averages like a movie a year, sometimes two now.
yeah, it makes me wonder, because Queer didn't arrive too far after Challengers. I mean, I feel like it was like
Right.
pretty close. It just makes me wonder if, like, I can only imagine like you're filming one movie, but you're prepping the other one at the same time. I can't imagine how like
You have
that
to be.
works, but yeah. And I mean, he's on a roll. I kind of wonder when his American Psycho take is going to come into play, because it looks like Artificial is up for him next, and then maybe American Psycho.
Yeah,
But
we've been talking about him a lot lately.
I
Which
know,
is great.
but it looks interesting. My buddy Justin is all into this, like, big tech like news and stuff. So like when he heard about this, he thought it was like a really interesting idea. And he like is all into that. So yeah, it sounds interesting. And also, I don't think he's really. I mean, I guess there were aspects of Challengers that were. I mean, he got nominated for best comedy or musical or comedy at the Golden Globes. That, I thought it was mostly a drama, but
I mean, yeah, same. I didn't find it very comedic. But.
I guess it has elements of dark comedy, but it'd be interesting for him because this feels like it could be a kind of dark comedy-ish kind of movie, and more of a and much different from the stuff that he's done lately. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Up next, I didn't hear about this. This is something that you pinned in here, but the Michael Jackson biopic you word it new release date. Am I to interpret this as delayed, or what is this new release date?
It was previously scheduled to come out April 18th, 2025. They moved it to October 3rd, 2025, and that seemed like they were trying to move it to position it for awards contention. But then Lionsgate got a cut of the movie that was 3.5 hours long.
Oh, goodness.
And they were like, that's really long. We got to figure out what to do with that. And then the other reason that's rumored, but to be the main reason why there was a delay, they said the first cut made references to 13-year-old Jordan Chandler, who accused Jackson of molestation and who the pop singer settled with for $20 million in 1994 with no admission of guilt. The Jackson estate explicitly wanted nothing about Chandler in the film, which led to more shoots on the production. They said this was reported because a settlement reached back in 1994 included not dramatizing any part of Jordan's life for any reason. Which you would think, since they were working closely with the Jackson estate, that they would know not to include that in any shape, way, or form. But the new release date is April 24th, 2026.
Wow, that's a significant delay.
Yeah, and there could still be plans to split the movie into two because I guess Lionsgate thinks the movie is strong, and they don't want. And his life, Michael Jackson's life was pretty big. I mean,
yeah, one movie. I don't think you're gonna get everything in there for a guy of that magnitude.
Yeah, my thing about this, I mean, I love Michael Jackson as a performer and musician. I grew up listening to him. We still listen to him when we go out and all that stuff. But clearly a complicated man with a complicated life, and I wonder if you're making a movie about him and the estates involved, like, are they going to like really go into all the nitty gritty about him, or is it going to be like a really soft biopic? I really hope they go all in on it, because that's the only way I think they can do right by it. Because it'll be very obvious if they kind of sidestep the more serious aspects of his life, and that's even the bad stuff, even the stuff that he was accused of. I mean, if anything, he was accused of these things, but one, he settled in 1994. And a lot of people think that even with that settlement, that family was after his money and took advantage of the fact that, he didn't really have a childhood growing up, and he was pretty childlike. He had a lot of childlike tendencies, in his life. and a lot of people exploited that. And when it happened the second time, he was acquitted of it, and it was another situation where a lot of people felt like they were after his money. So there is a huge camp of Michael Jackson fans who think that he didn't do any of that stuff, and let's ignore it. But it's out there, and I don't think you can really ignore it because it was a big part of his kind of career downfall in the mid 90s, like 94, 95. Like he was very successful still overseas, but not nearly as successful here after all that stuff happened. So I don't think you can like kind of work your way around it without really discussing it. And that's why the Whitney Houston biopic didn't quite work. And that's why I didn't really love Bohemian Rhapsody, because you made Freddie Mercury's life into something that was PG-13, and he did not lead a PG-13 life at all. So,
right.
And it's from the same producers of that movie. That's why I'm also concerned. But it has Antoine Fuqua.
Take. Yeah.
Yeah, but Antoine Fuqua is still working it, so I do have that. Like, at least there's that. But
yes,
I agree with you. I see the potential of it being completely. His nephew's playing him. So Jafar Jackson is playing him. So it's they're keeping it all in the family, and the family is so closely involved. I just wonder, how can you really get everything?
How critical are they going to be of his life? What sort of different perspectives are they going to entertain about, maybe some unflattering parts of his life if the family's kind of controlling the narrative? I feel like we are going to get sort of a sanitized sort of movie, which would be pretty par for the course as far as musical biopics. Like very few really dive into the sort of grittier aspects of some musicians' lives as they walk the line, being like an exception. In any case, there's a million different things to tackle about an artist of that caliber's life. Like Michael Jackson was like larger than life, so I think it's going to be entertaining.
You have to go all the way back to his time with the Jackson 5 when he was a kid. There's so much that you could do because his career was like so long. And also, Lionsgate must be happy because apparently the budget is anywhere between $150 to $200 million. And that's mostly because of the music rights. And these delays are not costly yet because they haven't marketed the movie. So if this was in the middle of like marketing the movie and they had to delay it, then this would be a very expensive endeavor. But I think doing it now works, and hopefully they won't have to move anymore. I guess they just have to decide whether or not to split it up into two parts. I don't even know if the hardest core Michael Jackson fans will sit through a 3.5 hour Michael Jackson biopic.
Get anybody to do that.
Yeah. So we'll see. This next story will make people of a certain age or demographic happy. Katie Holmes is writing, directing, and starring in a planned film trilogy called Happy Hours, described as a story about two people navigating their relationship within the challenges of careers and family responsibilities in the pursuit of love, despite life's inevitable obstacles. It's a character-driven dramedy that explores the emotional journey of young loves who reconnect as adults. And these young loves once worked together on a show called Dawson's Creek because Joshua Jackson is going to be in it. This story blew up on MovieWeb, and this is why there are certain people when it comes to like this demographic of shows like Dawson's Creek, so late 90s, whatever. Like, I think people are just so enthralled with the fact that like, oh, they're doing something again together because Jackson, I don't think you weren't even like, you were like what, one when Dawson's Creek came out? Like 98.
Although I'm very much aware the series had a big following amongst my friends' older siblings when I was growing up.
Okay.
So that's how I was aware. And I've been told, and I think we've discussed this before, I've had a couple of friends that have watched the series that tell me that I remind them of Dawson because he's such a cinephile and a movie guy. And I've always found that intriguing. I kind of wanted to watch the show because I guess there's lots of awesome movie references in it. But yes, that's right. I always associate it with like One Tree Hill and the OC. Like
it's interesting because like they have the same like One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek have the same aesthetic because like I think they were both filmed in the same area, like in Wilmington, North Carolina. They were both from the WB when the WB was big. Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson used to date in real life while they were filming the show, and then they broke up while filming the show. But I don't know, they were mature and continued to work together. They had already broken up they had broken up by the time the show decided to put their characters together romantically during the show's during the show's third season, which kind of like gave the show a bit of a resurgence because everyone was like, yeah, Joey and Pacey, and no Joey and Dawson. So I mean, I think for people of particular age, this is why this news is exciting. And also this kind of like planned trilogy of like romantic, this kind of like navigating through life challenges. It kind of reminded me, not totally, but like the Ethan Hawke, like Julie Delpy, like the before
Sunrise.
Yeah.
Midnight? Yeah.
I feel like that's what she's attempting here, which could be good. It's shooting right now in New York. And I think Mary Louise Parker is also attached to it. Constance Wu, a few other people are in it. And she found it to be a good project to reunite with her co-star.
The trilogy is ambitious.
Yeah, and also people going all in on a romance, like dramedy trilogy is pretty ambitious because
but then there is like a gap, I think, that could be filled like these days with something like this. I know we do have like Celine Song kind of busting onto the scene with kind of in that market, but this is something that definitely screams like 2000s era, and I'm kind of here for it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and like she doesn't have really a big proven track record as a filmmaker. Like some of the stuff she's done is pretty good, but like it's been mostly under the radar, like very indie, like very little seen. Like I've seen a couple of them and they were decent, and I thought some of them deserved more exposure, but she hasn't quite gotten that yet. But it seems like her interest is more in writing and directing now, even though she's starring in this. But it seems like she wants to be behind the scenes more. But I agree with you too. I think there is a missing kind of pocket for this type of movie, and like you mentioning Celine Song like that. I think that her movies have proven that like the Materialist did decently well for A24, and Past Lives did well too. So I think there is like a niche audience for it, and if you get the assist from your ex Dawson's Creek co-star, like there you go. That's how that works. But a trilogy, I mean, to go all in on a trilogy of movies is ambitious, and so she must have pitched a really good, fresh idea. And the fact that she probably had a cast already lined up, it seems like she already had everything in place before she pitched.
Smart. Better to get your ducks in a row before you pitch something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's for all the people my age out there who want to talk about Katie Holmes and Josh Jackson.
I'll be keeping my eye on that too. I think that looks awesome. But it's nice to know that so many people that are fans of that show are still engaging with them after all these years.
Yeah. I think also too because like they were much different from other teen shows because they shot on location. They didn't shoot in LA. Nothing. They didn't have the typical like falling out of a nightclub drunk or high. They weren't that kind of cast. Like they got through 6 seasons of that show with zero problems. they're very rare commodity for like a hot teen show like that. So I think that's why there's something I think that's still considered so wholesome about it and about them. So more power to them. I agree with you though. I think it's an interesting idea, and like I want people to make more character driven pieces like this. Like it seems very character driven and like kind of taps into the stuff that is very real, and we don't really have a lot of that anymore. So kudos to her for like spearheading it. All right, we got trailers.
Yes, we do got a handful of trailers that have released. The first one being for Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, One Battle After Another. I think it's had an earlier trailer that we covered on the show, but we've got another look at it.
A longer one.
Yeah, a longer one with a completely different tone, I found. Anyway, this one
I have a theory. I have a theory on why they changed the tone for this.
Let's hear it.
Because I thought the first trailer, which was a teaser, felt more in line with the movies that he would make. And and Warner Brothers, kudos to them for bankrolling it and all that. But apparently this is a very expensive movie. It's one of his most expensive movies. And they said more than $140 million. That's kind of where this is headed. It doesn't look like a $140 million movie, but I'm guessing talent, and I don't know. Well, I'm trying to figure out all the money was spent. But this trailer I thought looked more straightforward about like this is what the movie is about and selling it to a mainstream audience rather than just P.T. Anderson, like his audience. So like and I thought that it's a smart move because I still think it looks good. it doesn't look like too like out of pocket. Like it doesn't look like, oh,
No.
this is like, yeah, it has this aesthetic and DNA still, but it definitely gives you a better idea of what the movie is about.
This appears to be his most marketable mainstream movie. Paul Thomas
Yeah,
Anderson is like a very unique filmmaker. He's, I think, a cinephile's dream. He's made a lot of
yeah,
amazing movies, but I can't always say that I'd recommend his movies to a lot of people because they're just so zany and niche. But this one seems to be more of a straightforward kind of more people can enjoy this, I would say. But yeah, in this trailer, like you said, definitely marketed in a different way. Where I agree that teaser was more marketed to like fans of Paul Thomas Anderson's, but
yeah,
I thought the trailer looked great. So I'm surprised that you think it doesn't look like not that you don't think it looks like good, but I guess I feel like it's like a big, bold, epic, spanning movie. 140 million dollars is a lot, but
yeah,
DiCaprio himself, I'm pretty sure, demands a $20 million salary as it is. So there's a big
yeah.
chunk of
I
the
guess
movie
so.
right there. Sean Penn's a two-time Oscar winner. Benicio del Toro probably
So
commands
it's
a
an
good
Oscar
salary
winner
too.
too. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
I feel like a lot of it goes to cast, but
yeah.
and PTA
I
himself probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think Warner Brothers really. I mean, I know they've been testing it a lot. I heard much to the chagrin of Paul Thomas Anderson, who they want him to cut some stuff, and he doesn't want to cut stuff, and they're thinking about their bottom line because it's 100. Like, I mean, it's one of the things you celebrate them because they're like, hey, you put in $140 million in this movie, and you trust him to do it, so
Hmm.
I guess just trust him, right? But then once they're like, yo, we have $140 million on the line, like, and they see a cut of the movie that they feel like they can't market right. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they do have every right to be like, hey, like we need to make some changes here. I mean, we talked about that with Kingdom of Heaven. Like, what do you change when like you have all this money on the line? Um, I think what they did change just for now, not even knowing what kind of final cut they went with, I think they really changed in the terms of the marketing. They were like, we have to make sure audiences know exactly, at least closely, what the movie is about, and not
Hmm.
make it look like a vague, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson, cinephile dream, and more of like something that a mainstream audience can latch onto. So I think that's what that trailer did. I thought the trailer was, not that I didn't like the teaser trailer. I just thought this was a
Yeah,
much more straightforward, coherent, uh, that representation of what the movie could be about.
exactly. And this is right around the corner, releasing September 26th
Yeah.
this year. Well, just another couple months before this one's out. It's exciting. It's
Yep.
one of my more anticipated movies for the remainder of the year.
Yep. The next one we got is the sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Did you ever see the first one?
No, I didn't. You?
You're like, I did see it if I saw it with my brother.
Okay,
So
okay.
how I felt about the first movie, because I have no connection to the video game. I didn't even know it was that huge because my brother told me it was because he played it, and I didn't know
Yeah.
it was like a big deal. Like when the first one opened to $80 million, I was like, my mind was blown. 'Cause I was like,
Yeah, that
what?
was shocking to me too.
Yeah. Um, but how I felt about the first one after I saw it, I thought it would be, if I was a kid, it would be a good introduction to the horror genre. Like it would be like, it's not too scary. It was suspenseful enough. I didn't hate it. I mean, I think I looked at it through the lens of like how a child would see it, and I was like, all right, it was pretty okay. Um, I know people had issues with like the PG-13 rating and all that, and I think they're keeping that for the sequel. But the sequel looks like it's, just from the trailer, it looks a bit more intense, and they're going all in, a little bit all in on the scares. And I think that, I mean, from what I heard, they took the notes from the first movie seriously, and that they wanted
Okay.
the second one to be scarier and all that stuff. And everyone's back. Josh Hutcherson is back. Elizabeth Leo, who's also the first one. Piper Rubio, who plays his young daughter, is also in it. Matthew Lillard, who I didn't believe was going to be in
Interesting.
this one. He's
I
back.
didn't see that.
Yeah, he's back in it. And Skeet Ulrich is going to be in it, so that we have a screaming union in Five Nights at Freddy's 2,
Okay.
as well. As someone that's never seen the first movie, um, are you tempted to even like engage in this IP at all after
Not
watching
really.
it?
Honestly, nah, not my flavor, I guess. Good for it for being a successful video game adaptation, especially like we don't get a lot of successful horror video game adaptations either.
Yeah,
Um, I didn't realize too that this takes place in the 80s. Is that the case with the first one?
Why can I not remember that? I
Well,
don't.
the little write up on IMDb for the sequel says 1987. After a rather unstable life, Jeremy Fitzgerald found work as a security guard at the new Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. Blah 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 blah. I didn't realize that it took place in the 80s. It sounds like it does based on that write up, but
Let me check. I'm
yeah.
not sure. I mean, I have also saw it when it came out and probably only paid half attention to what I was watching, but like, yeah, it was decent. Also, I think the sequel looks interesting because it looks like they're taking like the animatronics or the whatever I want to call them out of and putting them kind of out in the real world and like letting them stalk the real world a bit. I don't know. I think it is a horror movie for kids. I mean, but I heard that Blumhouse wants to like up the scare quotient because they kind of heard that people weren't too thrilled with the first one on that regard. But bear in mind, the first one made $297 million worldwide on a $20 million budget. So that's why you're getting the sequel, which opens on December 5th. Also seems like a weird. Well, I was going to say that's going to be a weird time, but they've done horror movies around that time before, so it's not.
Yeah, but still, I would have expected October for this one, but interesting. Holiday season it is. First one came out in October, didn't it?
Yeah. It was at the end. Yeah. It was at the end. Like it was like literally the 30th or something like that. It was at the end of the month. So I'm curious to know what you think about this next trailer because I have thoughts, but
interested to see.
Did you? Yeah, this is another one. Did you see Mortal Kombat? Like the new one?
No. However, I'm more inclined to check it out than I would be like the first 5 Nights at Freddy's because I've never really connected with the games either, but I've always admired them and like been interested, and I love the concept of like the finishing moves and all that. The fatalities like that.
Fatalities.
Seeing video game footage growing up, like I always thought Mortal Kombat was super like badass looking. I just never played them, but I know that the first one from a couple of years ago did pretty well.
That was during like. Yeah, Mortal Kombat did pretty well during like pandemic time. It was one of the first movies to come out like as movie theaters were opening again, and then they released it quickly on HBO Max, and it became HBO Max's biggest movie at the time. So I actually enjoyed more the first one. People were really hard on it, and I guess I'm not a video game nerd, but it's called Mortal Kombat, and it is about a tournament called Mortal Kombat. And in the first one, there's no actual tournament yet because like they were building up to it. So there are fights and stuff in it, but every like video game nerd is like, well, there's no actual like tournament. No, there's no actual Mortal Kombat in Mortal Kombat. So all right, whatever. It's still hands down better. It was better than any right it had to be because like I don't know what you expect from a movie like this. But even the people who made the first one, I said they were aware of the mistakes of that movie, and they seem to be wanting to fix that in Mortal Kombat 2. The trailer got a really big reception. It was 107 million views in the first 24 hours, which is like it broke the record for a Red Band trailer. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
A lot of focus on Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage seems to be the central character in this one, played by Carl Urban. I know people thought he was like. Some people said he's too old for it, but it seems like they're going down a more like grizzled, like former Hollywood actor route rather than like a current young Hollywood actor route that the games kind of went with.
Right.
It showed. I mean, so back in the day, there's the 1995 movie, which is basically only I feel like most people love because it has like a really, really great theme song. Like I think people know that more than anything. And then they made a sequel called Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which was awful. Like it's really bad. There's imagery in this trailer that looks like that sequel, and that's why I'm concerned. Looks like some of it looks like really cheesy and kind of not good, but maybe I'm like overthinking it. I don't know. Like some of the effects look cheesy and not good.
Definitely seem to be like embracing the cheesiness of the former Mortal Kombat. I feel like it might be a better approach to get ahead of it and sort of embrace it than to take itself too seriously and sort of redo that cheesiness like unintentionally. So I actually like some of the lines Kyle Urban delivers, I'm like, this is such like 90s like cheese in the best way
Cheese.
though. Like I was kind of flattered by it. Like this actually seems like kind of like a good time. Whereas like if it was trying to take itself seriously with the same dialogue, I'd be like, that is like unironic cheese, which is not good.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, I mean, I haven't seen the '90s ones, but this looks like a good time. Like maybe if the timing's right, I might try and see it. This has a pretty appropriate release date of October 24th of this year.
Yeah.
I think it looks like pretty interesting. If the time comes and I don't have anything else to do, I'll probably try and get the first one in because it looks entertaining. But
Yeah, and there definitely was a self-serious tone to the first one. Like, it wasn't like it didn't take itself too seriously, but I think it tried to not embrace the cheesiness of its concept. It also focused on the character that's not even in the video game. Who's this character is back in the sequel, but it seems like they're course correcting and like focusing centrally on a character from the video game that everyone knows. They created a new character for the last movie that had been in games, and that was another criticism. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if you go all in, embrace how cheesy the concept is. It is a really cheesy concept. I grew up on these games. So I used to love Mortal Kombat.
okay, right on.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just concerned like imagery wise, but I guess you're right. If you're gonna go all in, they should just go all the way in on how cheesy this concept is. I just hope that it's not so bad. Like, you know, it has to.
Well, yeah.
Hoping
it comes across a little like self-deprecating and like tongue-in-cheek sort of way, and I think that'd be the right approach for something like this. But it's hard to make material like this in live action and it be convincing and taken seriously. So I don't think that's the right approach to it.
Yeah. All right, we're circling back to Luca Guadagnino at the next trailer.
So when this movie was announced, I remember we were chatting about it, and I said this looks a lot like the Norwegian movie The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen, which follows a very similar plot. And it's nice to actually have a first look at Luca's movie after The Hunt, which does seem to be following a very similar, I mean, going different places, but similar like foundation in the sense that a professor is accused of inappropriate conduct by a younger student, and that sort of leads to an unraveling in his life. Now, the one with Mads Mikkelsen is like a very like devastating, sad, horrible like tale, I guess, that in which kind of it's a very amazing movie, like very, very profound. Whereas this one looks more of like a like tense drama that you don't really know who to believe I think it was framed in a really interesting way, and I'm interested in it. But I'm gonna look it up here.
Yeah, I'm all in. I really like the trailer a lot. I mean, for those who know, it's about a college professor who is forced to grapple with her own secretive past after one of her colleagues is faced with a serious accusation. It looks like that colleague is played by Andrew Garfield, who's accused of assault. Ayo Edebari, who is on The Bear, who's actually won a lot of awards for that show.
I was wondering where I heard her name.
Comedic awards, even though that show's not a comedy, but that's in like another discussion for another time. And she looks great in this too. Julia Roberts looks great in this. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a really cool, like adult. I want to call it. I guess. Well, it's being labeled as a thriller on sites I'm looking at. But like
thriller vibes,
yeah. But it looks like there's like all this like you said, like, you know, who do you believe? It looks like Julia Roberts has like a past as well in it, and it looks like, you know, Ayo's character Maggie could be playing both sides too. Like, she's a young philosophy student in the movie, and she's a protege of Julia Roberts' character. And there's just some interesting like bits of dialogue too that I think they're going to explore when they were talking. She has like one line about like a young black woman accusing, you know, a white man of like, you know, doing something like that, and kind of like what position that would put her in. And I thought that was really like, I think it has so many interesting ideas in the trailer alone that I'm so intrigued by it. And I mean, it's going to premiere at the 82nd Venice International Film Festival, so they must be confident in it on some level. I don't know. I love adult movies like this, like adult thrillers. I miss them.
Me too.
And he's making them. So I also think like when I watch the trailer, I mean, I know I shouldn't like really look at trailers like this, but other sites said too that there's like Oscar potential for the movie too. They think that all three leads have potential to pull in nominations. I guess we'll have to see how the competition is like, but it looks like it could be that kind of movie too if it if it's well received and gets good reviews. But
And on a longer side at 220, it's going to be I think it's an
yeah,
appropriately dense movie.
I think that's going to try the pages of some who go see it. I just saw that too. I was like, oh yeah, it is very long. But hey, good for them for not making him make a shorter movie. And music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So they're also on this too. They also did challengers for him as well. So I don't know. I think it looks good. I think
I do think a great companion watch to that movie would be Thomas Vinterberg's The Hunt it's from 2012. I looked it up. It's a little bit on the shorter side, 155.
well, now I need to check that out too.
Yeah, incredible movie. And like very similar. Like I honestly I wouldn't have been surprised. I thought Luca's film was going to be related to this just by the nature of like the content of the movies and with the title both including like The Hunt. I thought that was too like similar to be a coincidence, but I'm not really sure what the idea is. But the Mads Mikkelsen movie is really, really great. But yeah, in any case, very excited to see what Luca is able to cook up with this one, especially like Falling Challengers, which is an amazing movie of his. This one, October 17th. October is a packed month.
Packed month. Yeah. It's crazy.
And many of them not horror movies. So that's kind of
I know. It's always interesting because like we always talk about how big summer movie releases are, and they are. But then like once you get into the fall, you just get into a different type of movie release. It's not like these big, massive budget movies. It's more character driven, like awards fodder mixed in with some IP, as we can see with our next two trailers. Both these next two trailers are based on previous IP. One is Predator Badlands, the other is Tron Ares. We had a short look at Predator Badlands not too long ago.
We did.
And this is a longer look at it. And then Tron Ares also had a shorter teaser trailer as well. They both have gotten longer looks. And what did you think? I guess first Predator Badlands. What did you intrigued by it?
I couldn't be more excited for this movie. I am a huge fan of both Predator and Aliens, which I know you are as well. Been a long time since we had sort of a
good Predator movie. Oh, I guess Prey counts.
Yeah, I'd say Prey. I recently watched Killer of Killers from this year as well in June. That was incredible. I like the 2010 Predators movie. But I was gonna say it's been a long time since we've had like a blend of both of these IPs in one movie, and like this seems to be like the first dive into like an Alien and Predator universe again with clear Alien references in this Predator movie. So I'm really excited for what comes out of that. But I thought this trailer looks awesome. I know that the design of the Predator in this movie has been divisive, with some people hating it. I think it looks sweet. I have no issue that it's different. It's close enough. I mean, I could go into the lore and stuff of like the Predator, and I think there's like logical reasons why you'd have different looking ones, and no issue with me. I think it looks dope. There's a line in this trailer from the Predator, like speaking in its language, that I thought was like super badass. I can't wait for this movie. Yeah.
It looks interesting because like I thought it's interesting. One, because like, just from the cast, we just have Elle Fanning, and I'm not going to even try to butcher the person's name who plays the Predator in this movie. It's like Demetrius. I think Demetrius Schuster, and a very complicated last name, but he plays Deck, who's a young Predator outcast for being a runt, and who it's kind of like in this movie alongside Elle Fanning. I think what I like about it is that it's focused on like not like a bunch of characters and just like these two central characters. I mean, I know other things will be in the movie, but like just the idea of like, a Predator having to become an ally with like, someone like Elle Fanning's character is really interesting and way different from like the stuff we've seen before. So I was interested on that level. And then also Dan Trachtenberg seems to love this IP and is doing a really good things with it and has a lot of good ideas for the IP. That's one of the main reasons I'm kind of all in on it. I also still love what he did with 10 Cloverfield Lane. I always go back to that because that was a really good, I guess, unofficial sequel to Cloverfield. Like, so like really well done. And I'm glad that with Predator Badlands, he's getting a theatrical release of this, because I know when Prey came out and Prey was good and everyone loved it, the only criticism was like, oh, I wish that was released in theaters because it was, released for Hulu. I don't even think Hulu realized what they had with Prey, or or why they should have maybe released it theatrically. I know there is a sequel in development for Prey that's separate from this stuff.
Right.
So I think that I don't know, I'm kind of happy that he's going all in on his little Predator universe, and I trust him. I think everything's it looks pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, couldn't be more excited for it. I'm glad that this and the Alien IP are in such promising spots right now after a couple decades of some shakiness. Also, there's a fan theory out there that I'm inclined to agree with, that I think Elle Fanning is playing two characters in this movie. If you pay attention in the trailers, she has some very subtle differences in different scenes that I think lead to her playing two different androids, which we've seen also in the Alien universe too, where one actor plays multiple androids. So there's a precedent set for that, and I think that could be happening here. But I just love that a Predator is taking center stage in one of its own movies and looks incredible. And I can't wait to see. I hope it really does really well, and that's coming November 7th, 2025. So
it opens the same weekend as the Running Man. I didn't include that trailer here, but I feel like one of them got to move. I mean, I feel like I think it's weird when like movies that might attract the same audience could cannibalize each other, and I feel like there's the same audience that would be attracted to both of these movies. I feel like one's gonna get hurt by it the most by releasing the same weekend. So I don't think one's gonna move. They probably think they don't have to, but I wouldn't want to see like one film like kind of like hurt the other in terms of, especially I feel like this one could get hurt more because like I feel like Glenn Powell is a bigger overall name than what's going on here, and I don't want them to fuck with the Edgar Wright movie because I love Edgar Wright, what he could do with the Running Man as well.
But I was really happy with that trailer too. I think it looks really cool. I'd like to see both of these.
Yeah, and I saw that finally when I went to go on the big screen when I saw Jurassic World Rebirth, because I saw it online and it played really well and like on the big screen too, so I thought it was really cool. And now we have Tron Ares, which all I can say, it looks visually stunning, just like the last Tron, and I'm intrigued by it. I'm not like a big like Tron advocate. I'm not a huge I like the movies, but I haven't really been a big advocate of the IP, so I don't have like a huge dog in the fight, but I do think it looks really interesting and visually stunning. So,
was the last movie from 2012?
Yeah, it's they've been trying to make a sequel to it. Oh, they've been trying to make a sequel to Tron Legacy for a while.
That's the 2010 one. Okay, yeah. Why did I feel like there was one from only a couple of years ago? I don't know why. I'm not. Oh, Joseph Kosinski did Tron Legacy?
Yep.
What the heck? Okay, I did not expect that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen a minute of footage from any Tron IP or installment. Like I have nothing really to say about the series. I do agree the trailer looks pretty visually stunning. I remember seeing the trailer for Legacy when I was 12 years old and thinking this looks really interesting and futuristic, and there doesn't really seem to be anything else like it. And I kind of had a sense that it was a legacy sequel to an older IP from like the 80s. And I always associate Daft Punk with Tron. Did they do the soundtrack?
They did. No, they did the Tron Legacy music, which became popular in its own right, separate from the movie. I have friends that listen to that music that haven't even seen the movie. They're like, I'm like, do you know what that's from? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, well, it's from a film. It's from a film. Yeah, it looks interesting. For those that don't know what it's about, Tron Ares follows a highly sophisticated program named Ares, who is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission, marking humankind's first encounter with AI beings. So we're getting a lot of those kind of movies lately.
Yes, very much capitalizing on the AI.
Our AI fears are starting to like trickle into our mainstream film and TV. So I guess that's where we're going. And that's going to make more people speculate how bad and evil it can be. So there we go.
Yeah,
but no, it looks really good, and the cast is good. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Jared Leto. I mean, I'm whatever about that. But Greta Lee's in it. And Evan Peters is in it too. So, and Jeff Bridges reprises his role as Kevin Flynn from the previous installment. So they're bringing him back as well.
Cool.
Yeah. it looks pretty good. I mean, visually it looks great, and I feel like it could do well. There was a whole like messiness where it kind of came and went, where Jared Leto was accused of like some sexual misconduct like a couple months ago, and and like that kind of came and went like pretty quick. Maybe because
he's a very controversial guy. He's got like a cult like in real life around him. It's very weird if you deep dive into him. Like he's a very interesting figure, and but he's a talented movie star when he wants to be. He's put in some weak and very strong performances, but
not my favorite dude. But yeah, I was like that shit. I feel like that should have been a bigger story, but then like it kind of, he denied it, and he's been really quiet about it. And I think like who's the production company behind Tron? I think it's 20th Century. Oh, Walt Disney. So they're probably like, we have a movie to promote in October, so you just stay put till we really need you to promote it. But yeah, I mean, I guess if no one else is making a big deal of that, maybe it wasn't a big deal, and they'll be fine promoting their movies. But I know it has a big presence at Comic-Con this weekend, which I may still go to on Saturday or Friday night, Saturday. But almost every major studio sat out of it this year. And I think it's because like the release schedule didn't work out with some of the movies they needed to promote, so they think they'll have a big push from studios next year. And a lot of these delays came from the strike. We're still feeling the effects of that, when people were delaying their films and like kind of like trying to fit them into this year's schedule, which is why they said it's a really weird Comic-Con this year. Like Marvel's not there, DC's not there. I think the biggest movies there are Tron Ares and Project Hail Mary. So that should tell you how this is going. But yeah, it opens on October 10th, another October release. So there you go. October is a packed month of movies.
I guess so, yeah.
And that gets us through news.
Yeah, there we go. Another news episode wrapped up. There was a lot packed into a little there. There's lots of other things from the last few weeks that we missed, but in any case, still lots of stuff happening in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think we got the gist of it out though. So yeah, thank you for joining us for episode 247 of Back to the Blockbuster, where we covered some of the latest in news in the industry. I will be talking to Jackson very, very, very shortly about a combined anniversary episode, which should be interesting because I know how he feels about one of those movies. The other one we haven't talked about at all, so that'll be really fun. We haven't talked about it whatsoever. So look out for that. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify. Those are all great. But if you want to find us on the Playlist Studio app, that is preferred because they are our podcast network and they take good care of us. So you can find that in the iOS store or the Google Play Store. We'll have a announcement for you guys very, very soon on our 250th episode, which will be coming very shortly, about some changes coming to the show and all that stuff. That we're very excited about. And so look out for that. You can also find us on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. With the changes coming to the show, a lot of changes will be going on to that. So make sure that you have that all done in your back pocket, because we really want to add stuff to it as soon as these other changes that we haven't really talked about yet come into effect. But yeah, we're really excited about things that Back to the Blockbuster. I know we are both very, very, very busy people, but we are very committed to the show and the evolution of the show. So even when we have like really busy schedules and stuff, we're always kind of thinking about what can we do to make it better. How we can fill in gaps when we're either too tired or just can't get stuff done for the show. Just rest assured that whatever is happening with the show, we are not like kicking it aside or like giving up on it. Like, we are very committed to it because there's a lot of great things coming for the show. So I should be speaking for you, but I'm assuming that's how
you're true. No, 100%. Lots of great stuff coming. Summer's been a busy month, but there's still lots of work behind the scenes being done. So it's great again to get out here and chat news, and very much looking forward to our next episode beginning here very shortly. But yes, guys, thanks for tuning in to another one. And we'll see you very shortly.
Yeah. Until next time, guys. Peace.